Hey everybody, let's see what we got. Getting on video here. All right, it's 2 o'clock on the dot. I'm in my drop top, cruising the streets with a 30-year-old flashback almost. Oh, fascinating. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are doing great. I hope you're thinking about 2026 and what it means for you in an employment. My name is Tanner Gears, and you are attending the Ask Me Anything live event. How to avoid the three biggest issues or interview mistakes that blind people experience, blind people face, blind people commit in the interview process. We're going to talk about those three mistakes and a whole lot more. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. But my name is Tanner Gears. I'm the founder and CEO of AccessAbility Officer. Ability is our middle name. And I have been incredibly passionate about disability employment for a couple decades now. Ever since I lost my sight. I woke up in the hospital totally blind as an adult, and that was incredibly difficult for me. I of course experienced a lot of discrimination right away with regards to social exclusion, even in the medical field, especially in education, um, going through school and going back to school. Uh, but let's go ahead. Should be sharing my screen now. You guys should be seeing that. Let me know if that's not the case, Rada.
We can see it,
It's
but you're
it,
on slide two. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this is what we're going to be covering. But yeah, when I woke up in the and so I started to face that, but I never really understood the problems that we face in employment. The first time I applied for a job as a blind person, I got it. And I expected that to happen because every single time that I applied for a job and I interviewed for it as a white male in the United States who had sight, I always got the job. So when I got my first job, I had no clue how lucky I was to actually get hired by a business as a blind person. And this was in 2006. 2006, ladies and gentlemen. But that changed my life. It let me know, right, that choice is possible, freedom is possible, independence is possible, that I can choose to live the life that I want, and definitely employment is going to be a part of that, right? That financial independence, the ability to put food on your plate, to put your kids in the right schools, to keep the roof over your head and clothes on your back. Money doesn't solve every problem, but it solves a lot of problems that people like us face, right? Just the logistics of getting around. It costs more to be blind. And so you need some income to satisfy that. And that's what that first paycheck felt like. I wish I would have put it on the wall or something or laminated it so I could look back at it today. But I needed that money, probably like you need some money right now. And so this topic, the three biggest interview mistakes that blind people make, I don't think could be more critical and salient right now, especially as we're going into 2026, right? So March, late Q1, early spring, that's hiring season, right? All the companies that you've heard of, they've laid off people, they let people go, they're cutting those budgets, right? And we're hoping to see that ramp up in hiring season next year. But with the advent of AI and more companies trying to keep spend down, payroll down, we will see what happens. And that's why it's never been more important for you to be practicing your interview skills, improving them, and working through that. And the best part about it is that they are a skill. So what are the three biggest mistakes? Exactly what to say and how to say it, right? We're going to talk about that today because, so what if you know about the problem? How do you actually fix it? And then I think one of the biggest things is how you can stand out from all the other candidates without disabilities who have a ton of experience. How can you stand out even when you have less experience? So I hit the wrong button there. So let's come back down here. All right, moving into slide three. Where does this come from, right? Everything that we do at Accessibility Officer and Able accessible bridgeway to learning, living, and employment is about this, that the U.S. disabled unemployment rate should be the same as the U.S. unemployment rate. And we do everything every single day, everything in our power to make that happen. And we do that tactically. Like what we really do is that we have a business that provides services that people pay for, businesses pay for. And then we provide training programs and opportunities, direct paths to employment to actually get those jobs, right? So we provide digital accessibility services. We have a digital accessibility training program, get trained, get certified, get a job. And we have additional training programs to help people get there as well, to the Getting Hired Playbook, the Workplace Readiness Accelerator program, and of course, the Certified Accessibility Tester program. So if you want to learn more about those, go to accessabilityofficer.com and click on vocational rehabilitation in the footer. But this is our vision. The U.S. disabled unemployment rate should be the same as the U.S. unemployment rate. And this came from the pain of what happened when I got fired from that first job. Because when I got fired, that was when I really became aware of the discriminations. Like I kind of already knew it. Like I was a high performer in that job. It was a call center. There was about 600 people there. And if you work in a performance-based call center, it's about call volume and speed and quality. Basically, how that you have 100% quality on all your calls. You're saying all the right things and doing it with like, even I remember when we used to like if you said bye bye, that was like wrong. You got marked down for that. You could only say bye. And that was like that's quality assurance. And then how quickly you're processing those calls. Call centers are often paid on call volume. How many calls are they able to process? And customers will pay per call that you handle. And so the faster that you're on and off calls, the more they get paid, and thereby your performance pay kicks in. So I was the first person in the disability corner, right? There was like five of us blind people. I was the first person to ever get performance pay increases, the B standard, the A standard. I was the first and only person in the disability corner to get the employee of the month because I was the highest performer of the entire call center. I did that multiple times. And I was the only one to get their base pay increase based on performance. But I was experiencing discrimination because despite all those performance outcomes that I was creating, I still couldn't get the promotion that I went for multiple times. And I didn't understand why. I'm like, I'm crushing it. Like I'm one of the best on the team. Like, why am I not a team leader? And so that became really clear. Why not? When I got fired. Not because I got fired, but because that was when I actually showed up to the second interview, in the third interview, in the fourth interview, in the 500th interview, and I didn't get the job. And it was devastating. And so that's where our mission comes from, right? The US disabled unemployment rate should be the same as the US unemployment rate. If you've got the skills, if you've got the abilities, in my world, in my perfect world, our vision, you should get the job. So moving forward, we're going to the next slide. Why are interviews hard for blind candidates? They are hard for a lot of reasons, but some big ones that stick out for me, five of them, right, is transportation and logistics, just actually showing up to the interview, right? Like, do you have paratransit options? Do you have to pay for Uber or Lyft? If it's a significant distance away, how much does that cost? Do you even have access? So the logistics and the transportation to just get to the interview, that's a barrier, right? Then when you get there, you get to the door, where do you go? If you're by yourself, how do you get there? And how do you make it so not uncomfortable for them, for someone who probably has never met a blind person before? How do you make that smooth and seamless? How do you make it so that you're not already being discriminated against, judged against? Right? That's a problem. Then there's, of course, the accessibility and social cultural gaps, right? So let's say it's over Zoom, right? Like, is the technology going to be working for you that day? Is it on Teams? Is it on WebEx? Is it on Google Meets? Like, are you actually able to get on there and share your video, that you've got good audio? Like, are you able to share your screen when they're asked? But really, the social and cultural gaps is like, have they ever met a blind person before? Like, are they just going to be shitting on themselves because, like, oh my God, how'd this blind person get on the Zoom webinar right now? There's just social and cultural gaps. They just don't have anybody with severe disabilities in their culture, in their workplace, and socially, they've never met anybody like that. So, of course, they've got unconscious bias, right? That's the third one, unconscious bias. I have unconscious bias against myself, right? family did not like tell me people with disabilities were wrong. As a matter of fact, quite the opposite. I volunteered for Easter seals as a kid, as a young adult. I volunteered with some of the most severe disabilities, and this was prior to the physical ADA accommodations, right? So we would bring ramps for the individuals who used wheelchairs, and we would have to do all these little hacks and workarounds to make sure that we could get access to these physical environments where we needed to get access to, right? But like even though I had all of that growing up, I still have unconscious bias against myself because it's socially embedded. It's culturally embedded into us as a society, right? That people with disabilities are less than, even the word itself, disability. All right. So we've got unconscious bias. Then we've got lack of awareness that there's actually like blind people can even answer the phone, let alone have a screen reader. What are you talking about? You have a smartphone? You got an iPhone? You're on Facebook, you're on LinkedIn, right? So lack of awareness for what's possible. I know that I suffered from this too when I first became blind. I had no clue how I was going to do anything, let alone earn a paycheck. So, disability disclosure, right? What's the right time for you to disclose that you have a disability? So, we're going to be talking about that today, how you overcome that. And there's more, but these are the big ones, right? Those are the big ones. So, going on to the real goal, I'll get to your question here in just a second, and we've got time and space for Q&A at the end. So, I hope you stick around for that. But the goal, moving to the next slide, the goal for every interview is not to impress them. We're not going to disability porn the hell out of them, right? It's to answer the $1 million question because you're competing against hundreds of other candidates who don't have a disability, probably have more experience than you do, and 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 they don't have a disability, right? But you're that's the $1 million question. Uh, but this is it. The hiring manager is wondering, is this the best person to do the job? Right? Based on all of the other candidates that I got 100, 200, 300, 500 candidates, is this person, this blind person, are they the best person to do the job? That's what you got to answer. So let's go over it now. We're going to go over the three biggest mistakes and how you're going to solve those problems, those barriers, how you're going to get through all of that. Okay. And so the first one here is presence and presentation. This is going to be in person. This is going to be on camera presence and presentation. So I am looking super spiffy and nice. I got my hair done. I'm freshly shaved. I got a button down on. It's light green. So I know my eyes are popping, right? Because I got hazel eyes. So I got that green popping on. I'm gonna get my smile going. I'm pointing at my smile, right? Like I'm doing this, and I'm framed in the video. I know that I'm right on framed in the video because I practice, right? Because I know how important it is. We live in a sighted world, so you better adjust accordingly. Okay, you better be in focus, well lit, and with good audio, right? I got a nice $100 microphone. It's bolted to my desk right here. You can't see it. You only can see these little headphones, right? But that's what gets me the good audio quality that I've got right now. I've got this webcam going in my laptop. Nice thing about it is I can make sure I can just adjust the screen. I've got my hand on it right now that I'm in frame, and then I'm going to use the front of the laptop, the actual feed of it. I'm going to use that to line it up with my shoulders, and then I'm going to look down towards the center bottom of the screen. I'm going to make sure that I've got good eye contact, that I'm making a good presence, a good appearance, right? For the person that's looking at me, even though it means nothing to me as a totally blind person, it means everything to the other person that's listening to you. Your hair, your clothes, your aesthetics are top notch, right? Like I said, I'm freshly shaved. I got my hair done. I got the green shirt on to try to give me a little bit more pop in my eye because I only got one eye. I only got one eye. I got this eye patch on, so I want that green eye popping, right? So that's a choice that I made. I ironed this shirt, right? So getting the wrinkles out, right? Making sure that you look tip top because everybody else will be, and you don't want your appearance to be the thing that holds you back from demonstrating your ability and you getting the job. Right? It's super, super important. So use eye contact, use body language, and show interest, right? Lean in, right? Like make your like show like expression in your face, let it light up, lean in. Okay. Talk with your hands. I'm going to be doing probably a webinar on how to talk with your hands. I think that we need to be doing this more as blind people, is making, like, if we, at the end of the day, we're adapting to the sighted world around us, right? And so this includes our communication styles. And so we must start to incorporate our body language, our expressions, our facial expressions, how we talk with our hands and our bodies, how we communicate. We've got to be incorporating this 360, because if I'm just sitting here and I'm just talking and I'm unexpressive, then the person on the other side who's looking at me is like, is that a good cultural fit? Because John was smiling and engaged. Sally was like super bright, had all the expressions. She talked through her face. She didn't even really need to say anything. I could tell exactly what she was thinking in her face. Right? As blind people, we need to be doing this, right? So the biggest mistake right now is your presence and presentation in person and remotely on a video meeting like this. So moving to number two is not controlling the narrative. You're freaking blind, right? If you're blind, and if you're doing a good enough job that they don't know that you're blind, then kudos to you. But you're gonna have to tell them. Hopefully, and we teach this in the Getting Hired Playbook, is that you've already done your research. You already know that they're at least a disability curious. Right, if not inclusive employer, that they're open to it. Okay, but you've got to address the elephant in the room, right? If you, and this is how you do it. Hey, if you didn't know by now, I'm blind. I'm actually totally blind. And I know that probably sounds like really scary and weird. I meet people like this all the time. This is their first time ever meeting a blind person. But let me tell you, like, I use special technology to do all the things, right? So I know you're a Microsoft shop, right? So Teams, Office, Outlook, the whole thing, I know how to do all of that. And it's probably integrated into the systems and tools that you use. I don't know if it's Salesforce or if you're using HubSpot or a different CRM, but I'm good to go on all of that. I'm very familiar with how these tools work, right? And you got to tell so that's number one, right? And we're going to get into more of that later. But two is you got to tell the stories for why it doesn't matter. Quickly move in to your stories, and you want to rush to value. I'm going to teach you how to do that later, but you want to tell the stories for why it doesn't matter. Essentially, you want to get to the outcomes and the return on investment that you create, i.e., your value for your employers, for your companies, for yourself, for your family, and other avenues if you don't have the actual working experience, right? But tell the stories for why your disability doesn't matter. And then three is you got to turn the tables with questions of your own. Turn the tables of questions of your own, right? Is like, and we're gonna tell you exactly more. Excuse me, we're gonna tell you more of exactly how to do this in just 1 second. So, number three, the biggest mistake is not knowing their business. You've got to know your business. If you want to stand out, you've got to know their business. The fastest way to show value is to show them what you know, right? Show them what you know. You're going to have to communicate this, but you're also going to have to demonstrate this. Okay. So, you're going to need to, one, know how they operate. What tools, what softwares do they use? In the Getting Hired Playbook, we teach you exactly how to go through all of this stuff. And in short, it's creating relationships on LinkedIn and doing market research to find this out. Today, Google Gemini, ChatGPT, Grok, and Claude could probably also help you out with this. I'm seeing tremendous results right now with Gemini and doing research on companies. But you want to be talking to people to know how they operate and what tools and softwares that they're using internally. Just that alone is going to differentiate you from everybody. Uh, then you want to know their business. What's important to them? What hurts them? How do they make money? Right? You've got to know their business. Know their people. Right? That's the third one. Know their people. Can you speak to who's doing what in the company? Do you know who you would be reporting to? Do you know beyond what your responsibilities are? Do you know why that those responsibilities are important? Right. So know their business, know their people, and then know the industry. This is the fourth thing. Okay. This is how you stand out without a bunch of experience, is that you've got to have a perspective. You've got to have thought leadership. You have to have knowledge about the way things work. And when you can speak to that, when you can speak to why you have a perspective and why you're a valuable asset, it becomes to conceptualize for them, right? When you're speaking beyond your disability to how you provide value, why you're the right hire, that's how your disability no longer matters. And so you've got to have knowledge. You got to know how they operate, know about their business, know about their people, and know about their industry. If you don't have experience, you got to know these things. And then how do you stand out with less experience? Okay. This is about being a player, an A player, being perceived as an A player. It's how you stand out without experience because average candidates ask about benefits. Average candidates ask about time off. Average candidates ask about breaks. Exceptional candidates ask the questions that uncover pain, demonstrate value, and demonstrate outcomes and their return, i.e., the a business's return on investment from hiring you. So here's a question. Here's some questions that you might want to ask, and these are on the PowerPoint. Okay, but I'm going to read them off here. What is the single biggest bottleneck from preventing this team from hitting its goals right now? If I were to start tomorrow, what is the one problem you would want me to solve in the first 90 days that would make hiring me considered a success? Hey, I saw that your competitor just launched a new app or product that's gaining traction. How is your team planning to counter that in the next quarter? Okay. Those are powerful questions that show you have knowledge and insights, value that you can bring that's separating yourself from everybody else. Okay. Your story, when they say, hey, tell me about a time when you did this and blah, blah, blah. Like when you're telling stories, you want to rush through them, right? You want to rush to the value and not say something like, hey, I was on the accessibility testing team. No, your story is about solving problems and creating value. On the digital accessibility testing team, I implemented a new testing protocol that reduced our bug backlog by 30% and saved our engineering team 15 hours every single week. So when you're telling your story, rush to the result. Here's the problem, 10%, right? Here's what I did, 20%. And then here's the measurable impact that it had on the business, 70%. Yeah, when our engineering team had those 15 extra hours, we were actually able to do this, this, and this. It created this value for our customers. And actually, it was really nice knowing that not only I created that value, but I created those outcomes for the business. I knew that was really important to not just my manager, but the department, right? Here's the problem. Here's what I did. Here's the outcome, measurable benefit, value, return on investment for the business. Okay. And then uh now let's go into the Q&A. Like what we covered so far is we covered the three biggest problems that are holding blind people back in interviews, right? We discussed what you need to say, how you need to ask questions, and how you need to demonstrate value. We provided examples for questions that you can ask and what's really important for the employer. We demonstrated how you can express experience and value even when you have none on paper. It's about knowing how they operate, knowing their business, knowing the industry, and knowing who works there, right? People are power, right? And proximity to power, proximity to people is only going to do good things for you. We teach this all in the Getting Hired Playbook. But I'm going to pause right there. I threw a lot of spaghetti at the wall, ton of value, ton of different rabbit holes we can go down. But this is what I want you guys to be thinking about in 2026, how you're approaching interviews, and more specifically, if you didn't get it from this presentation, is how you prepare for them. So let's go ahead and open it up for questions.
We got Nicole and Mary Beth. You guys have any question?
I know there was a hand raised earlier. I didn't stop for it. I think it was it
I
Rakesh?
I think he left.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
Something okay,
that
Tanner, I'll go with just I mean, I know I'm here because I'm here, but like currently right now, I have a situation. I am physically not in the best position to be on screen. What do you
yep.
do if something like that? Right now, and part of it is my eyes are just I don't know what's going on, but my eyes are constantly watering. I can't keep them open. They would not be a good look on screen. Um,
So in that event, what I would like, let's say you're at an interview and there's nothing you can do and you can't push it back. So what I would do is
yeah,
I would email and message the hiring manager on LinkedIn. I would message them in all the channels that you have possible. You probably
whatever,
if you
right,
might
whatever you have, yeah.
text message, LinkedIn, email. And I would say, hey, I'm committed to this interview, but I'm actually under XYZ condition right now. And I just wanted to let you know that I won't be on video. This is totally abnormal for me, and I'm really embarrassed, but I just wanted to give you the heads up so that you're not alarmed when you come on.
Because like right now,
So,
I just shut video off because I'm constantly wiping my eyes because I'm my eyes are tearing for because they're so irritated right now.
yeah. So that's
And
how
I
I would
thought,
do
geez,
it.
you
And
know, if I was in an interview, this would be bad.
yeah. I would also try to, if you could, I would try to bump the interview. Hey, just to let you know, I'm experiencing this condition right now. I just wanted you to know I'm dedicated to this interview. I really am looking forward to working with you guys and demonstrating my value. Just wanted to give you the heads up. P.S. If it would be better for us to bump this back by a couple days, I'm available at these times.
Yeah.
But it's a great question, Mary Beth. Great question.
Because, well, I know with a lot of people with their eyes, things, life happens and eyes are, when you've already got eye conditions, it's challenging sometimes.
Mary Beth, I know that you're pursuing job opportunities right now. Has there been a tough interview question that you faced or situation where you weren't really sure how to navigate it?
For me, it's when they hit on something that I'm not as like coding, which is I'm not my strength. It used, once upon a time I used to be, but the languages have changed and I did not keep up. Life, intervened and opportunity was not there. So, my hardest ones are when I face something that where, well, I'm studying, I'm working on it, but do I have those skills right this second? No. And they happen to be looking for that was one of the things they needed. So that's a hard one to handle when you go in and the job description does not necessarily indicate that that is a job requirement. It kind of sounds like would be nice to have, but they really are looking for it. And that was kind of a challenge.
Totally. If you were to give yourself feedback or constructive criticism on how you might have been able to discover that ahead of the interview, what could you have done?
I'm not entirely sure what I could have done. Like I said, the at that time I didn't really have any contacts at that particular company to reach out to. And what I had Googled and what I had looked at for like the job description and the what am I trying to think, what do they call it? The mission statement and all that that the company had to learn about them. I didn't see anything there that had prepared me for that entirely. They had mentioned it as, would be kind of a nice thing to have, but they in the interview it was more like, yeah, we need you to have that. So
Okay.
it wasn't
Um,
explicit, but it was definitely strongly suggested that that was something they were looking for. And that's you don't always know until you know.
yep, totally. So what I can do, let's see. Let me close this. Stop my screen share. So what I would do if I don't have contacts at a company, do you want to throw out a random company or do you want to share the name of the company? What would you feel better about?
It's been a little while ago since that specific one came up, so it was one of the ones like it wasn't level access, but it was a different one, a similar field.
Okay,
Um,
so it was an accessibility company.
oh yeah, it was an accessibility company. Who was, I can't think at the moment. I know who it is when I see it, and right at the moment I can't think of it. It was not level
Okay.
access, but it was similar. But yeah, it was an accessibility company, and it was a testing position like I'm looking for. So
Okay. So what I would do is I would pull up some Google here,
Nicole,
and
is
let's
that screen
just
reader too fast for you? I
um,
think her name is Nicole, if I remember. She's been absolutely silent.
is that Nicole Arnett?
Um,
Nicole Arnett, sorry, or different Nicole.
Hi there. No, the screen reader is good for me.
okay, well, I know some
Okay.
people it's too fast, so I didn't want that to
So
be a problem.
No
so
problem.
there's a ton of different digital accessibility companies. So I'm just going to pick one. I'll pick UsableNet because I used to work there. So and then what I would do is so I know the name of the company, UsableNet, and then I'm gonna do UsableNet LinkedIn. The first result should be their business page on LinkedIn. Yep. So now I'm on the UsableNet business page. I know exactly what I'm looking for, which is people. All right, so that brought me to something else that has people. It's people. So this people link will then filter the entire company by who, or excuse me, it'll filter everybody on LinkedIn just to show me the people who work at UsableNet. So now we've got this. So what I'm going to do, let's see. Here we go.
You had a what they do link or what they do
Yeah.
heading.
So UsableNet is primarily in the United States and Italy. So you got 33 people in Italy, 52 in the United States. Hey, if I want to find people at UsableNet that went to my school, oh, I went to Texas State University, right? Hypothetically. I went to Rutgers. I don't know why it's not showing me this. But where the heck is this? So this is the connect my connections that work at UsableNet. I think what it is I have these special Chrome extensions that are manipulating the layout of LinkedIn, and it might be hiding these search features. So all right, so I'm gonna search by tester. Actually, I'm gonna go here. by the way, LinkedIn is one of the crappiest platforms for accessibility. One of the crappiest. They suck.
Oh, I've seen worse.
Not even a skip to main here. Where's the skip to main?
You're right, they are missing that.
Okay. Senior QA race software. So do you guys hear that? So at race software, left parentheses, usable net, right
Usable
parentheses.
net.
So
Yeah.
usable net is using this company, race software, to do manual testing. So she's
So you
open to
find your people.
opportunities. Right. So I'm gonna take a look at her profile. The nice thing is that the best answers are going to come from people that are currently working there. But really good answers could also come from people who used to work there. So jumping down to the experience section. Wow, she's been working at UsableNet for 4 years. So she's gonna have a great insight on not just like the problems that they're having, but the things that she would like to see different in the company. She would know about strategic initiatives in the company. She would know what really matters. She would know if other people with disabilities are there. And all I gotta do is this. Wow, she worked at World Services for the, or she went to World Services for the Blind for her education, so she's probably blind. So so I can hit invite to connect. Sometimes there's a more button here, and you might need to hit the more button to send them a connection. But I'm gonna send her a connection, and it's gonna go like this. I'm gonna add a note. So now I get to add a note to Caitlin. So, hey, saw you're a tester and went to WSB, World Services for the Blind. Would love to connect. Thanks in advance. That's it. And now I'm gonna send invitation. Now, if they accept, I'm gonna keep checking back, and when they accept, I'm gonna then message them. If they're not accepting right away, I'm gonna stay on top of them in their profile. Like in a couple days, I might like endorse them for a skill. In a couple days, I might look and see if they have anything on any activity. Like, hey, have they made a comment on a post? Did they make a post themselves? Did they repost something? I'm gonna go and engage with that to just give them a notification and let them know that I'm watching. And then as soon as they accept my invitation, I'm like, hey, great to connect. Thanks so much. I'm super passionate about digital accessibility. Um, you know, if possible, could I get a couple minutes to ask you some questions about UsableNet or about the job or about, what do you think about this success criteria? And so you start that conversation, you get on their radar, you start that conversation, you send them a connection request, and then you start to find data and information about the company that you didn't have before. Um, that's how I would do that. Then the time becomes more so about less submitting more and more applications and more about being strategic about the interviews you want, sending applications for them, but also doing the work ahead of a job post even being posted, which is to say, like, companies hire all the time. It's very rare that companies are not hiring. The economy will cause companies to lay off people, downtime, and then the stuff gets good and then they start to hire again. So there's ebbs and flows of hiring. It's very, very rare that a company does not have any turnover. And so you want to maintain the relationships. You want to stay on top of the industry, stay on top of the business, stay on top of the people, stay on top of how they operate so that when a job post does come available, you already know the people that work there. They're probably recommending you. You're probably going to get the interview. And then when the hiring manager, who doesn't really know anything about the digital accessibility team themselves, you'd be like, oh, yeah, I already know John. I already know Caitlin. Oh, yeah, we've been friends for I don't even know how many years. Yeah, I totally, oh, gosh, I know about this strategy. Yeah, is that important to you guys? I can do this, this, this. It just creates so much less friction and so much more opportunity when you know how they operate, you know about their business, you know about their industry, and you know about the people that they already employ. So I hope that little exercise was helpful. Thanks for the new ones joining the meeting. We'll just do a little time check here. Right. So I will stay on for another 7.5 minutes or so, unless there's no more questions, then we can cut it early. But yeah, this Q&A section is all about you. This is all about interviews. This is all about how do you prepare for them, what you say, how do you say it, and how do you stand out from the other people, the other hundreds of candidates who are in the same interview. Questions, comments, concerns. The floor is yours.
Hi, so I just wanted to say, I think this was actually very useful, what you demonstrated now. Um, I am currently looking for remote work. As you may hear from my accent, I'm not American. I am South African, and so I'm looking for remote work because that seems to be the most accessible way to go at this stage, especially as you mentioned transport and things like that earlier. So, actually having this tool that you've just demonstrated to actually get into companies and to figure out how they work has, I think, been pretty useful for me.
Definitely. Yeah, there's different, so I have a paid LinkedIn account. If the free account's pretty restrictive, I think it limits how many people you can like visit their profile. I think it limits like even how many connection requests that you send and how many messages you can send, like very restrictive. But for in the US, it's I believe $29 per month, and the first month is free for what they call the careers plan. It's the first plan, the lowest level, and it doesn't sound like much, but that one will significantly unlock your ability to look at other profiles, to send messages, send connection requests on a month-to-month basis. The free version of LinkedIn is really more about posting and interacting with other people, not that are like active on the platform, not so much in doing like, outreach or what someone might classify as business development or recruiting. Yeah. So yeah, the career builder or careers um, LinkedIn subscription is the one I recommend.
Tanner, doesn't that also
Fantastic.
give, oh, I'm sorry. Somebody else
No
was
problem.
talking. I was gonna say, doesn't that also give you some analytics on whether or not you're being viewed, whether or not you're being researched and affect yourself by perhaps some of
Ab
these other companies.
Absolutely. It tells you who's visiting your profile, if a recruiter's visiting your profile. Nowadays, they don't identify the recruiters. They've changed that. Now it only says, "Hey, a recruiter's visited your profile." Um, but it used to say, "Hey, a recruiter from such and such company visited your profile." They don't do that anymore. Um, but and then depending on the security settings, you will see like everything about the person. It'll be like the name, the company, their position, whatever. Sometimes it'll say, "Oh, an executive from this company visited your profile," or "Someone from New York State visited your profile." And that's because they've turned off their privacy. They've turned down their privacy settings. But yes, Mary Beth is absolutely correct. That is a huge insight, and it provides other analytics as well in addition to profile views. Highly recommended. It's one of those like I hate LinkedIn, but I love it. Like I hate it because it's so expensive. It's so expensive. Like running ads on LinkedIn is expensive. Doing a job post on LinkedIn is expensive. Like just using the platform to its capability. Like it's full. Like Facebook and Instagram, they don't charge you to like go look at people's profiles or like send them messages or anything. LinkedIn, no, they totally are. It's very expensive.
But that's
And
where
they're
you're
not
guaranteed
accessible.
you're doing professional, not personal social stuff.
Totally. You can definitely do this type of stuff on non-business social media like Facebook, LinkedIn, or excuse me, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. You won't have the same kind of results because the people when they're on LinkedIn, they're in a business mindset. Everywhere else, it's more personal. Um, and it comes through that filter. But when you're on LinkedIn, people are there to do business.
Yeah, my daughter's starting a job hunt, and I just told her, "Do you have a LinkedIn?" or asked her if she has a LinkedIn profile set up. And she's like, "No." I said, "Yeah, you need to do that."
Yeah. It is fascinating, like the power of it though. Like even if you're just it's like I would consider it like your business website, right? It's like you want to get seen as a person, as a business, like put it on LinkedIn because you can create this profile and put all these keywords and put all these skills, and there's no one validating that stuff, right? You could just make it up, right? And I'm not saying that you do that. I'm just saying what's possible. And you could literally put all these skills on your profile, put some experience on your profile, put some stuff in your about, put the right things in your headline, and you could all of a sudden, like by tomorrow, be coming up in recruiters' search results, like recruiters who are on LinkedIn who pay big bucks to use LinkedIn's special recruiting capabilities. And right away, they're looking for to find people, and you're showing up, even though you just created your profile, even though you just created those skills, you're showing up because you're meeting all of these requirements, these filtering and sorting requirements, and you're showing up at the top of the list. It is
I always
really,
forget about the
really, truly
hashtagging
powerful.
stuff.
Yeah, the algorithm's changing. I think that I rarely use hashtags as much anymore. And they tried to bury it. I don't know if they have done so successfully because it's so ubiquitous across other social media platforms, but the algorithm's always changing. I don't use hashtags as much, and perhaps my reach is suffering. But yeah, hashtags are a good call out. All right, you
Do
guys.
you have sorry,
Go ahead.
No, go for it.
can I just ask, do you have um a webinar like you've just done on building your LinkedIn profile, or something to that effect?
The Getting Hired Playbook has that, doesn't it? If I recall, it's been a little
Yeah,
while.
we've done some. If you wanted to get something right now, so our vocational rehabilitation program is called the Getting Hired Playbook, but we have what's called what's and free to you is the Disability Hiring Playbook. If you search for that on YouTube, it might come up one of the first results on Google. But if you search for that on YouTube, it'll come right up. I think it's like a 4 or 5 episode podcast miniseries I did on LinkedIn and talks about how to do those things, all the different things that you
Okay.
want to do and how to do it. I don't believe it demonstrates like how I did, hey, do this, do this, do this, do this. We do have some webinars that kind of go through that, but we don't have like the Getting Hired Playbook is like a 12-week program. It's very comprehensive. So there's not like one webinar that you could sit down and be like, oh, this is
Mm.
everything that I need to do. But if you went through the Disability Hiring Playbook, it talks about all the things that you need to do.
Breaks it up into
So,
different
so the disability hiring playbook is the one you mentioned, and the other one is the 12-week one,
getting
That's
hired
right.
playbook.
getting hired. Okay. And is that also available?
Yeah,
Can I
that
access
one's
that?
available.
Okay,
So if you
wonderful.
look on the at accessabilityofficer.com,
Hmm.
down at the footer is a link for vocational rehabilitation. If you just search for that or do a links list or just go to the footer, vocational rehabilitation at the bottom of the page there, that'll have all of our training programs, one of which is the Getting Hired Playbook.
Wonderful. I'll definitely look into that. Thank you.
Excellent. You're welcome. Thank you for being here. Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, sure.
How did you find out about this?
On Facebook, uh,
Nice.
I, I I came across it on Facebook and decided that yeah, I would join. And it's kind of like heading for midnight here in South Africa.
Yeah, she said she's from South Africa. I often tease people when they have like we were in the Uber the other day. I forget where we were. I think it was Baltimore, and it was very they had a very strong accent. And I was like, "Where are you from? Kentucky?" It was like they were clearly not from the United States, you know. And but yes, so thank you guys so much for joining. It means a lot to me. I hope this was valuable. If it was, please share with other people. I really want these messages, these opportunities to get in front of other people, because our vision again is that the disabled unemployment rate is the same as the unemployment rate, and we got a lot of jobs. We got a lot of jobs to go get after. So. Thank you guys all so much. Tanner.gears at accessabilityofficer.com, and everywhere on socials, Accessibility Officer. Ability is our middle name. Thank you guys.
Talk to you later, Tanner.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Bye.
joining.
Accessibility Officer. Ability is our middle name.